we're gonna be looking at patch 12.13 notes. We're gonna be looking at the balance changes, see what's happening, and obviously the skins for Star Guardians are going to be releasing on this patch. But let's take a look at the balance and see how much more downhill we can go before we have to dish out money to Riot Games for our beautiful, beautiful skins. So patch 12.13, we are going to be looking at some nerfs to Corki and Volibear, but then they're buffing Elise, Evelyn, Fiddle. They're buffing Fiddle when he's getting a skin. Galio, Karthus, Kled, Master Yi, Olaf. Why are you buffing Olaf again? Renekton is getting a buff. That's good. Talia getting a buff with her new skin. And Vex. Obviously, they're adjusting Sivir with her, mini rework, and Gwen as well with her mini rework. And then they're changing objective bounties, Leandri's and Demonic Embrace, Divine Sunderer, and the Lethality Mythics, which are Prowler's Claw, Duskblade of Drakthar, as well as Eclipse. So, I'm not going to spend too much time, but Nilah is also releasing this patch, so that's going to be a clusterfuck, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the rest of the stuff, Champions Nilah is being released this patch. I have a video on Nilah that I will link down in the description below on seeing what her abilities do exactly. If you are interested in that, just make sure to check it out. We're going to continue on here. Sivir is getting a mid-scope update, so all of her abilities are being changed somewhat just to, get her back into a playable state instead of just the lethality Sivir that you see everywhere, her base stats. If you want to go through all of this, you can pause it for the base stats on that. Her passive is now scaling, so it's buffed entirely, and it scales by level. And the decay, the bonus move speed duration it decays over 1.5 seconds instead of just being for 2 seconds. So it's faster entirely, but it also has a little bit faster of a decay time, Her Q, her Boomerang Blade. It's losing some base damage early. Actually, it's getting nerfed by 10 damage at all ranks, but it's 100% of total AD and 60% of her AP. Randomly getting a 60% AP ratio, like a 10% bump on the AP ratio to Q is weird. The cooldown used to be 7 at all seconds. 7 at all ranks is now 10 to 8. So it's a little bit of a nerf and it scales, but it's a little bit lengthier, right? And the cast time used to be 0.25 seconds, now 0.25 to 0. So the more attack speed you have, the faster your Q goes. There's a new passive on it called Critical Shalakar, which it now scales with her Q now scales with crit strike chance, dealing up to 50% bonus damage at 100% crit chance. That's pretty insane, not gonna lie. It's gonna incentivize more crit builds instead of the lethality stuff, which I like that. They have nerfed the mana cost at all ranks immensely, so you can use it more, and it's not going to be such a burden on her mana pool. And the missile speed has gone up by 100. Yeah, so they basically buffed the throw out speed, and I think the pulling back is a bit slower. Her W Ricochet, it has been... Okay, so it used to be 90% of your total AD, is now 50% of your total AD at max rank. The mana cost has gone down by 15, but the duration, it used to be 3 attacks, it's now 4 seconds. So it doesn't matter the amount of attacks that you do, it's not just 3 attacks anymore, it's 4 seconds of attacks, rather than just 3 auto attacks. The cooldown is now 10 at all ranks, so it's a little bit nerfed for the later speeds, but again, it's highly incentivized to max this instead of, I think, Spell Shield, or instead of Q as well, because you have more seconds to use it, right? You have more ratio to use it as well. Speed boost, when you activate it, she now gets up to 40% bonus attack speed at max rank. Exactly. You're gonna be wanting to max this for on-hit Sivir or like actual AD carry Sivir, you know? And now it has tough crowd, so it now deals 80% damage against minions. So it's a little bit less damage to minions, so you can't just instant wave clear. But again, you have more time to spread out the ricochets. So it's a decent buff, you know? The bounces, it used to be unlimited. Now it's up to 8 per attack. It's per attack. So yes, you have 4 seconds to get even more auto attacks in, but there's only up to 8 bounces from it now. The bounce range has been extended by 50, so it's apparently it's been extended by the length of 1 Teemo. Yes, 50 units is 1 Teemo. The missile speed has also been increased by 300, so it's a lot faster now. And now it has bounce boost. Ricochets can now bounce back to targets that have already been hit, but only 1 extra time. And ricochets will prioritize new targets first. So it now, like, let's say there's 3 people in a fight with you, right? You can W auto attack and it'll bounce to all of them twice, right? Her E spell shield, it has been nerfed at the later stages, but now it has new passives. Happy heals. Blocking an enemy ability now heals Sivir for up to 80% of her total AD or 50% of her AP. And a new passive saying called Sia. Blocking an enemy ability now procs Sivir's passive. Fleet of Foot. Blocking in it. So they removed the mana passive on Sivir for her spell shield, but gave it a heal instead. I don't know if I agree with that personally, but that's weird. I mean, like, yeah, she gets a heal, that's cool, but I don't think adding more healing to the game is really what you want to do, you know? I don't know. I don't know about the E change here, personally. Ultimate on the Hunt, it has been lowered by 20 seconds at the first rank, 25 seconds at the, no, 15 seconds at, okay, so it was decreased by 20 seconds at the first rank and 10 seconds at the last rank. It used to be 8 seconds at all ranks. It's now going to last you 12 seconds at the maximum rank. Quite nice quality of life. The hunt continues. If Sivir assists in a recent takedown while her R is active, its aura will not. Okay, so they're giving her the Vayne treatment. If you kill someone with your ult being active, it refreshes. Sivir's basic attacks during R now reduce her. She gets old Shojin on her ult now when she auto attacks. But they also removed the bonus movement speed on it, and it no longer gives an initial movement speed burst to her allies as well. Don't know how I feel about that, but I like the fact that there's a reset mechanic, but again, it falls into that trap of like every champion is getting a reset mechanic in one shape or form, and it's really weird. It's okay, but it's still weird, you know? Honestly excited to see how these changes affect her gameplay. And I'm looking forward to playing another AD carry other than just, say, the 3 ones that are always popular, you know? But yeah, quirky nerfs. No, these are not nerfs. What is it? E Gatling gun. The little prrr thing. It used to be 7.5 to 20 damage per tick with 10% of your bonus AD. It's now 7.5 to 20 plus 15% of your bonus. So they're buffing his E, but the R missile barrage is getting nerfed by 10 at all ranks and getting 8% of his AP cut from it. And the big rocket damage is also getting 16% of the AP cut from it. Hot damn. It's also losing 20 damage at... no, at all ranks. Wow. So his R has been like mini nerfed for AD quirky, but kind of massive nerf for Corki's like hybrid builds. Don't know why again that they're changing it this way. This change here to add incentive to build AD for Gatling gun, I don't think is the main issue. I think the main issue is that it's impossible to build against Corki in a way that actually protects you, right? So he's still gonna one shot you no matter what if you're squishy. Then again, you're squishy, you kind of need to get one shot, you know. Not a big fan of this, but this is a big hit to like Luden's Corki and stuff like that, which is, I guess it's warranted. Elise is getting some changes. She's getting an extra 25 base health, an extra 2 health growth, and an extra 3 armor. Little changes, not bad. And her Q human form is getting buffed by 80 at the final rank. Not too big of a buff, but a little bit of quality of life type stuff that I think is okay. Evelyn, this is very tricky. Evelyn is so tricky to balance, so this is gonna be insane. Her passive has been increased, has been doubled at level 18. So she's getting more health regen. Enemy magic resistance reduction on her W allure is going up by 10% at all ranks. That is insane. That is absolutely fucking insane. And I'm going to enjoy playing it, but absolutely ban the hell out of it when I play against it. Because if I have to play against it, I'm going to be simulating my IRL life of being colorblind and streaming a gray screen simulator. But her R last caress, it now has Seek and Hide. R now puts passive on a 1.25 second cooldown. Okay, so this basically means that as soon as you ult, you can almost immediately go invis. This is good for Evelyn. It's gonna be so hell on players trying to kill her when she uses it to like escape. It's gonna be so much hell, you know? I'm gonna enjoy playing this, but this is gonna get nerfed. Something about this is gonna get nerfed. This is not okay. This is not okay at all. This part especially is not okay. Fiddlesticks. My man getting the Star Nemesis skin. He's gonna get buffed accordingly because if you don't buff him, nobody's gonna want to play him or buy the skin, you know? Yeah. His Q Terrify duration has been buffed by 0.25 seconds at all ranks. Not too bad, but a little bit annoying. And his R is getting a 25% AP bonus scaling on it, as well as about 125 damage buff at all ranks. I like the damage buffs, that's okay, but the AP ratio going up a little bit is a bit sus. I think the only really bad part is the fear duration. Other than that, it's okay. It's an okay buff. Galio getting buffed again. And it's on his Q instead of the other abilities that he has. Where Galio's Q will one-tap you. Galio's Q Winds of War. 0.66% per 100 AP of the target's maximum health. So it's 2% plus 0.66 per 100 AP. It is now 2.5 plus 1% per 100 AP of the target's maximum health. That is insane. That is a really big buff. And the tornado max damage over 5 seconds used to be 8% plus 2.64% per 100. That's weird. It's now 10% plus 4% of your 100 AP of the target's maximum HP. That is a very big buff. That is very tank shreddy, but it's also going to still one-shot squishies without him having to really go and do anything. So basically dodge Galio Q or you die. Gwen changes. Now, Gwen is one of those champions that you either love playing her or hate playing against her for the most part. I'm happy she's getting some changes. She's really unfair to play against in the top lane a lot of the time. She could just one-shot you with her ult as level 6, even though you can be like 3 levels ahead of her. She'll still one-shot you with her R. Makes no sense. But now her base health regen has been buffed massively. So it used to be 0.55. Now it's 0.9 per 5 seconds. Her passive maximum damage against monsters used to be 10 plus 15%. Is now 6 plus 10%. So there's a massive hit to Gwen jungle. Her Q, snip snip. It used to be 9 to 21 damage per the snip hit plus 5% of your AP. It is now 10, scaling up to 26. So it's better scaling. No change in the ratio though. Final snip damage used to be 45 to 105 with 25% of your AP is now 60 to 140. So it's a big buff. Plus 35. It's also a 10% bonus. It's 10% AP scaling bonus as well. The center snip used to be 100% true damage, is now 75% true damage. So that's probably why they're buffing the base of it, right? Is because they're lowering the amount of true damage. Again, I don't know why a unit has to have true damage on a basic ability. Not really balanced in my opinion, but again, it's Riot Games. I can't tell them what to do. Minion played Rock. So her Q now does 75% damage against minions with more than 20% HP. And apparently minions below 20% HP now take 1,000% bonus. So she has an execute for minions for Q now. But if they're not above 20, if they're above 20% of their HP, the minions, they basically just take a little bit less damage. Her W, Hallowed Mist, used to be 12 to 20 MR and armor when you activate it, plus 5% of your AP. Now it's buffed by how much? It is buffed by 5 at all ranks and a 2% bump in the AP ratio. And the duration has been lowered, actually. It used to be 5 seconds, it is now 4 seconds. So, I mean, that's better for the W for counterplay, but I don't think upping the stats is really going to help it. Like, help people have counterplay against it. Like, again, the whole point of Gwen W is to not get hit by anything. They don't really stay and fight in it most of the time. So, I don't know. E, Skip, and Slash. Used to be 10 damage on hit with 15% AP. Is now 15 damage on hit with 20% AP. The bonus range has been reverted back to 75 from 50. And the cooldown has been nerfed heavily, actually, by 2 seconds at max rank. They made a little bit of a fucky-wucky here. It used to be 50% cooldown reduced on the first auto. It's now scaling. Now it's 25% on the first auto for the first point in E and 65% on the last auto. Again, this is gonna help people with Gwen's early game while also giving her more late game damage, right? It's not too bad. I think it's a good change for the E at the very least. Her R, Needlework. It used to be 30 to 80 plus 8% of your AP per needle is now 35 to 95. So that's a 15 damage increase base per needle plus 10% AP. So it's 2% AP buff as well as 15 base buff. But now it says new patterns. Ew. So now her R, she doesn't need to auto attack something to reset her R. It resets after 1 second. That I do not agree with, because the only counterplay people really had to Gwen's ult is running away. Now you can't even run away. It's just going to reset and you're still going to take the full damage. I do not agree with that at all. I'm okay with the damage getting buffed, but if you buff the damage, you cannot get rid of the counterplay to it. That is not okay. That is just impossible to get away from as anybody who doesn't have like 3 dashes at least. Insane. I do not agree with that at all. Karthus is getting some base stats. So he's getting 3 extra base armor and 9 health growth. Not bad. Kled is getting Q80 scaling. And his W cooldown is getting decreased at all ranks. So his Q bear trap on a rope. It's getting 5% 80 bonus AD scaling. And the second activation is getting a 10% bonus scaling for bonus AD. It's not bad. W's violent tendency used to be 12 to 6. It's now 11 to 5. I'm okay with that. It's not too bad. Even as somebody who fights Kled in the top lane sometimes, it's not bad. Genuinely, this is an okay change. Master E. Stop buffing him, please. He's so annoying. His basic attack range has now been buffed by 50. So again, the range of 1 Teemo, as described by Riot Games. So he's getting a Teemo's length of range. His Q Alpha Strike now has the Kane ult thing where you can pick where you want to come out from. Don't agree with that because it's kind of weird. I don't think it's needed, especially since Q gets rid of any chance you have to stun him. His W Meditate has now been reduced down to 9 seconds from 28, apparently. That's insane. The mana cost has also been reduced by 10, but it's also 6% maximum mana per second. Okay. And then his damage reduction is now 90% for the first 0.5 seconds. And then, again, they're just updating the tooltip for this, to be honest. And then apparently he gets damage reduction for 0.5 seconds after he finishes the meditate. So basically, the bug that's been in the game for so long, they've decided that it's no longer a bug and it's a feature. It's now a feature. But yeah, I'm just going to scroll past that depression for anybody who plays AD carry. Olaf is getting another buff for some reason. Don't understand that. Actually, his health regen is going down by 2. His health regen growth is going down by 0.3. Yeah, so it used to be 23.8 health regen. Is now 16.7 at level 18. But his passive used to be 40 to 100% maximum bonus attack speed. Now 60 to 100, so it's increased early. So this will encourage him to auto attack more instead of just being able to solo you because he has more health regen. And it's now Q Undertow. The damage has been buffed at all ranks by 10. Don't really agree with that since his Q is already kind of oppressive, but it is what it is. Renekton R now scales with your AD. That is a good buff. That is a good buff. That incentivizes Renekton to go more like damage rather than tank. Genuinely. And because it's always been 10% of your AP. Now it's also 10% of your bonus AD. That is so good for Renekton. It actually incentivizes him to build like bruisery damage like he's supposed to as a champion. Because from what I've seen, most Renekton players at the moment have been building like Sunfire with Blade of the Ruined King and then just like Force of Nature and stuff like actual just tank items because they can't output any damage past like 20 minutes. So they just itemize for like game where tank items will still do a lot of damage, but more damage than like an actual like AD champion, you know? This is a very good change. Very good change. Oh, Talia, you get a skin and you get buffed. Coincidence? I think not. Her passive cooldown no longer resets due to damage procs, like Liandry's Anguish. So like the rock surfing along the walls. So you can keep rock surfing even if she gets hit by like Liandry's and shit. Threaded Volley. Okay, it's getting buffed by 5 at all ranks. The 5 rock damage is getting buffed by 13 at the later rank. No, at all ranks. Boulder damage is getting buffed by about 9 or 8.5. Actually, 8.5, yeah. And the mana cost is going down by 5 at all ranks. The bonus damage against monsters, however, has been reduced from 30 to 25. But it has a new thing: rock and a hard place. Hitting jungle monsters with Talia's boulder, so the big boulder, now stuns the jungle monsters for 3 seconds. This is a nice change for jungle Talia. Genuinely, like it's good. It's decent. I'm okay with this change. Her R Weaver's Wall will no longer go on cooldown. Okay, this is good. This is good. I don't understand why this was there in the first place, but this is a good change. For clearing wards and denying vision or traps and stuff like that in the jungle for your team, would somehow put your ult on cooldown made no sense to me at all. This is a good change. I like this. Vex is getting some changes. I haven't seen Vex in a while, honestly. Her Q is getting a cooldown buff, so 1 second off of it at all ranks, and then the magic damage is getting buffed by 10% AP ratio, and only the ratio. That's okay. This is a nice little change. I agree with this. Volibear changes. Okay, he's getting a 2% nerf to his bonus movement speed when he presses Q. And the damage from Q as a bonus is also getting reduced by 10 at all ranks. But the ratio is unchanged. Okay, W Frenzied Maw. It's getting nerfed by 5 at all ranks. And by 1% bonus HP. Okay, I don't think W was the worst part. I think the healing part is the unbalanced part about it. But again, it says it's sustained for fights and stuff like that. His E Sky Splitter. Okay, so it's getting nerfed in only the ratios here. It used to be doing 11 to 15% of the target's max HP as damage. It's now up to 13% instead of 15. So it's a 2% nerf at the later ranks. Actually, it's at all ranks. 2% nerf at all ranks. And the range has also been reduced by 100. That's a pretty big nerf, actually, for the range, honestly. But again, Volibear's been pretty oppressive for a lot of champions, so it makes sense. Overall, these champion changes, for the most part, are okay. I don't see any super, super bad ones out of all of it. I think the only one I don't agree with is really just Evelyn passive here. This is gonna get nerfed 100%, but like the our last caress change is okay. I just think the passive heal being buffed is kind of weird. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the items now. The items are getting some changes. Divine Sunderer. It used to be okay. So they're nerfing the scaling damage of it. It used to be 12% of the target's maximum health, or 9% if you were ranged. It's now 125% of your base AD plus 6% or 3%, depending on if you're melee or ranged, of the target's max HP. So it's to encourage people who are like, okay, so Divine Sunderer is built for bruisers for the most part, right? It's Spellblade bruisers. But it's being built on 80 carries. It's being built on people like Irelia. I don't know if Irelia is gonna really want this anymore, but obviously she's still gonna run it. It's still gonna be kind of cancer, but I think this might be a buff to it. I'm not too sure. But the main nerf here is that it used to be 50% of pre-mitigation damage is the heal. It's now 65% of the pre-mitigation damage. And it's also being nerfed by 1.2% for both. Actually, for melee, and 0.6% for ranged of the target's max HP. But it's also now 100% of base AD as well to match the Spellblade damage thing here. The Mythic passive bonus also has been nerfed by 2% for both armor and magic resist pen. I don't know if this is going to be great change, but again, they're trying to make things back into a little bit similar to tank meta, but until they fix the healing, like the healing stuff, it's still not good. They nerfed anti-heal, and then they keep adding healing onto things. So we're going to go back into like sustained meta, which makes no sense. But now they have Forget Me Not. Basically, they've added something now that says it'll apply to the masterwork for Ornn as well. Demonic Embrace. Okay, so now Demonic Embrace stacks when multiple people have it. Okay, so if there's 2 people with Demonic Embrace right now, it doesn't stack. With this change, multiple people can have Demonic Embrace, and it'll stack the damage one on top of the other. It won't extend the damage of the first one, but it'll stack one on top of the other to deal damage properly. Leandri's Torment gets the same change. Decent quality of life change. I'm okay with that. Duskblade is getting 5 movement speed added onto its passive for its mythic passive, because they were looking to buff the lethality mythics, because assassins don't really build it because there's no reason to build it when you can build still kind of bruiser and fulfill the same role, right? So this is their attempt. So 5 movement speed per item. If you have Duskblade, you get 5 move speed. So every lethality item is getting 5 movement speed on top of the mythic passive bonus per item. I don't think adding just movement speed to all of it is going to fix it. But again, you don't need it for Prowlers because Prowlers is already a mobility item. It shouldn't be this shouldn't be on a mobility item. It should be something different. I don't know. This I don't agree with for Prowler's Claw, but I'm okay. Also, Eclipse is getting nerfed to 3% max health from 6. Because again, everybody's just really like spamming it for every champion. It makes no sense. Objective bounties are finally getting changed. Bounty lingering duration used to be 5 seconds, is now 60 seconds. Fair play whether behind or ahead. When we created objective bounties were a mistake and you should remove them outright. But again, you're not going to admit that, so you're just going to change it, right? Now, bounties will now start to fall off a little earlier when the losing team reduces the lead. That is good. Well, they're claiming an objective bounty as bounties are lingering now cancels all other objective bounties on the map until bounty. Okay, so when you get one bounty on the map, the rest go away. That is good. That helps reduce snowballs so fucking much. Champions with gold accumulating passives such as Draven or Gangplank and runes like Treasure Hunter no longer count towards your team's total gold when calculating bounties. That is good. Genuinely, that is good. Because it would put your team as ahead when, let's say, Draven's like Q stacks were like really high for no reason. Updated. How much is a dragon worth? The way dragons and towers are weighted when calculated for bounties has been updated to be more in line with player expectations. This is so vague, and the way you say this, that it makes no sense. You're saying it's weighted, but you don't give the actual number, so nobody actually knows. So you can just say whatever and pull it out of your ass. Don't agree with this. I don't know. Vision. All jungle monsters and wards will now be visible instantly, even upon dashing or blinking into invisible range. Or blinking into visible range. This is what was supposed to launch last patch, but it just didn't make it in. Game modes. Ultimate... No, I don't care. I'm so tired of Ultimate Spellbook. If you haven't already known, Star Guardian event, Ultimate Spellbook makes a return. So it's like the Viego event, but pink. That's it. It's just pink. The crown's even the same, just flipped upside down and made pink. And you can choose an extra, you have an extra choice of an ability. There's more ults you can choose from, and all the dragons from traditional Summonership have made their way into Spellbook. Shadow Isles Clash. It's Shadow Isles this time for Clash, okay. Competitive is getting another blocker to the transfer problem people have in high elo, where they just transfer reaches constantly to inflate their MMR. Bug fixes. If you want to know anything about the bug fixes, I'm just going to scroll very, very slowly and going to put my reminder here that if you aren't already subscribed and you've made it this far into the video, I do appreciate you and I hope that you consider clicking that like button, clicking the bell, keeping me part of your routine in life. And this list is a lot longer than I thought it'd be, and this entire spiel is going to keep going until the list is done. The list is done. Okay, we're good. And obviously, the skins coming out is Star Guardian Echo, Kai'Sa, Nilah, Sona, Star Nemesis, Fiddlesticks, and Prestige Star Guardian Echo. The only one I'm personally interested in is the Fiddlestick skin. Otherwise, if you like them, go nuts. And obviously, we have the Chromas here as well. But that will be it for me today. If you want me to keep doing this kind of content, make sure to like the video. If you don't, tell me why, because I am very stupid and I need input. But yeah, I hope you all have a lovely day. And if you haven't already, drink some water, eat a snack, take care of yourselves. I love you all, and catch you again at the next one. Goodbye.